Well, look at this. We're promoted. But don't worry, I'll be back to my rocking chair soon enough. Now, wait to hear this. I was talking just the other day there to a reporter. You know what a reporter is? It was for the paper, a journalist. And he says to me a very strange story. And it goes like this. One day, the king in his palace was putting on a big show, a very fancy big show. I'll have you know, everybody that was there. Oh, they were all singing and all dancing. And then the magic man came out. Yeah, a magic man. And he started to do a magic trick, and he was pulling out cards and he was making twos into ones like this. Hey, hey, magic. And then at the end, he brought out a big cage, and there was nothing in the cage. Nothing in the cage. Nothing. You couldn't see a thing. And he puts a big cover over it. He goes, abracadabra. And two little pigs in the cage. Two little pigs. Oh, says the king. Oh, wait a minute. Was it all? Was it all, he says? Oh, says the king. That is absolutely wonderful. That is so good. That's magic. Unexplainable. Someone beside the king, there was a big fat man sitting there. And he says, it's nothing but discipline, patience and time. Anyone can learn to do it. Oh, is that right, says the king. Come over here, he shouts over the little fat man. He says, so anybody can do it? Sure, he says, the little fat man. If you put the discipline in, you have the patience, over a period of time, anybody can do it. Oh, he says. He's very annoyed now, the king, because he liked the magician. He says, right, you, off you go, down to the dungeon. Now that's the prison. What, says the fat man. No, never mind what, says the king. You, on your bike, down there to the prison. Go. Oh, he says, the king. And by the way, when you go, take these two baby pigs with you. They'll keep you company in your prison cell. Well, thought the big fat man, it's a bit unfair that, is it not? I was just trying to tell the king something. But they took the big fat man away with the two little piggies, and he had to carry one under that arm and one under that arm, and he went down to his prison cell. Now, in the dungeon, shocking. It was dark and it was cold, and you had to go down 5 steps to the dungeon, and there was no mattress. It was just the little fat man and the two little piggies. Now, the little fat man says, well, if I'm disciplined and I'm patient, I'm sure, given enough time, I can make something of this situation. Make something of a situation. He's in prison with 2 piggies. 2 piggies. Well, the next morning, little fat man gets up. He takes a little piggy under that arm, a little piggy under that arm, and he says, I'm going to run up those stairs. I'm going to do that for the next 20 minutes. And he runs up the stairs. Oh, he was out of breath. He was awful knackered, because I didn't know if I told you. He was a little fat man. And he runs up with the little piggies, and he runs down the stairs with the little piggies, and he runs back up, and he runs back down, and he runs back up, and he runs back down. Well, he manages 5 times up 5 stairs. Oh, he's tired. I sit down to have a little rest. So he gets up an hour later, he says, I'll try it again. Up for 5 steps, down 5 steps, runs up with little piggies under each hand, and down little piggies. He says, okay, that's it. Next day, the little fat man says, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to pick another piggy up, and I'm going to run up 6 times. So 6 times up the stairs, 6 times down the stairs. Then he does it again, 6 times up, 6 times down. Now I thought, okay, I'm getting used to this. Well, every day the little fat man was picking up the little piggies and running up and down the stairs. An extra one for every day. Well, a year later, the king's getting a big magic show again, is it not? Yes. And he decides to himself, he brings out the magician and he says to the crowd, now do you remember last year? There was a little fat man, said something about the magician, says it just takes discipline, patience and time. He says, well, if anybody comes here and mocks anybody that does one of my acts before, I will send him to prison. Now, bring up that fat man and we'll all have a good laugh at him, he thinks to himself. Bring up the fat man. But the little piggies got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And his little piggy, well, it was the size of a big dog. And little fat man has been picking him up every day, running up and down the stairs. Well, up comes little fat man with the piggies over his shoulders. 1, 2, over his shoulders. And the king says, wow. Wow, what happened to you? That is marvellous. Absolutely wonderful magic. Look at that. He goes down, little fat man, and he comes up. Oh, big muscles and strong. How did you do that? It must be magic. Maybe the magician put a spell on it. No, said the once fat man. It just takes discipline, patience and time. And if you have enough discipline, patience and time, you can do anything. Wow, isn't that a wonderful story?